Yes. So if you see the today's concept, we are into data analysis using Python libraries. So why data and what are the libraries which we are gonna use and how data is gonna play a key role in 21st century. So that's what we are gonna make you clear. Even if you are from any background, whether you're working or whether you're a student, you'll be having a pretty good session as usual. You'll be learning something new. So let's see what are the packages which we are going to use. We'll have some bit hands-on on that. Then we'll be using a simple data set so that I get it to you and I can then we'll start working on it. So that's what we are going to do. Whatever you're having query, you can raise there. You have quick Q&A symbol. You can ask your question over there. That is something like a chat box. You can raise your question and hope that is clear from my end. So let's get back to the session. Let me ask a simple question before going into the thing. Can anyone clearly segregate what is the difference between data and information by seeing the picture? Data and information. Data and information. Just some quick answers. Yes, data consists of noise, facts and figures. Yes, I got some pretty good nice answers. Right. So let me make it clear. So data is, as said, it is a raw form, whereas information is a cleansed form. Whatever you fill your details in the registration form, right? So that is data, whatever you give. But when it comes to our backend, that will be stored in the format of an Excel sheet, which is information. So your data can be numeric, integers, that can be integers or float values or images or text. Generally, numbers, text, images, those are three types of data. Where images are again divided into videos, where what I can say, what do you mean by about video? That can be something like which is image which has time lapse, right? For every second, we have some series of images. That's how video editing is gonna do. If you go for GIF or anything, that came from images. Again, image is a group of pixels. So whatever can be in this form, that is the reason. If you see where I gave a simple the dots thing represent data, and where I gave information, can anyone say what is the picture name? I hope that is a well-known thing. What is the picture you are seeing over there in information? Yes, that is Mona Lisa. See, no one can say what is hidden in the information. So this 21st century is all about making your data into information, where we'll be having these pretty good number of steps. Why data into information? Why is it necessary? Because the keyword data analysis or data science, the buzzword of 21st century, I'll let you know why we should know about this thing. Even I'm from any other background, I'm into tech, I'm into electricals, or I'm into electronics, I'm into any other field. Why should I know about these things? Because it is not about one person or it is not about one field. It is about what kind of data you are using. So if you go for Amazon, you'll be having images, you'll be having text, right? Where you see about a product, you try to look into it, you see different types of images and you place in the cart, right? So if you go for Netflix, you watch the videos kind of data. If you go for YouTube, video kind of data. If you use WhatsApp, you have images, you have text, you have sending attachments, everything, right? So that's how these companies, you can see Facebook, Instagram, or any kind of companies, even Amazon, right? Even Netflix, which uses data science. Even Google, you can see it uses recommendation engine. So out of 10 people, I can say 5 people or 6 people mostly use Google for their search, irrespective of security concerns on all the things. I hope they use Google. Yes? What do you say? Most of you? I hope you use. Because you don't have any other option to give that much best recommendation engine. Sure, because that has started as the backlinks website, which has been into the greatest tech giant company working towards AI or data science. Then why this field has emerged so important? Because it is not that this thing, why in 21st century? Because simple, as population increases, data increases. As data increases, So to attend more number of problems, so we need to have the best information. Even you see diseases, to attempt more number of things, we need to have some medicine. If you take COVID-19 present example, if you want to build any medicine towards it, then what you need to have the data, right? How the virus is present and how many people it is being affected. They should start from the scratch. So that is the reason it is even taking time. So in 21st century, what I can say, data is your ornament. That's it. For example, you see, we have our best example. The only best example is you use your mobile number linked to bank account, right? That's what. See, with your mobile number linked to bank account or other linked to bank account, we have all the details. Government can access the details, whether where you are living, that can be according to your Aadhaar card or not. That's how the data is being important in this 21st century, whether you good use for a good norms or bad norms. Why it has been emerging in the sense, see, I may be from electronics, I may be from electricals, I may be from IT or computer science. Why I should learn the importance of data? Because whatever field you're going to work, whether that can be machines or whether that can be chips or whether that can be software, everywhere data, right? We communicate, machines do process the data. We have, that is digital, whatever we speak is analog. Yes, so that's how the data is being processed from man to man. It is communication. From man to machine, that is purely a programming. That's what we have. Yes. So if you see, I hope my voice is clear. So we have seen the importance of data. Then why it is being used by each number of people, and why that has been into the broad research in these days. If you see the example of Netflix, see, I don't think no one knows what about how to use Netflix and how to use Amazon Prime, because even a person from any village, he can access YouTube, right? Because he can directly go to the Google, he can type some movie name or song name, he get videos, because that is recommended. It is showing images, videos, or whatever you can see. So that is the reason these are the steps which are playing a very key role, and with which we are going to start our journey in today's session. First I need to understand what is my problem, because in data analysis, or we link the thing to building a model, we have mainly 4 steps which we work and which we try to deliver whenever we teach or whenever we build our own products. First, the important step is understanding your problem statement or collecting your data, because it is not that simple to collect the data. See, now we have so many resources. You can go for GitHub, you can go for Kaggle, or you can try to prepare your own data based on replicating the previous data. But if you are trying to do some research, you need to collect the data manually. You need to go to something like, if you're working towards agriculture, building some machine learning model or deep learning model, so you need to have the data. That is not present in the web, because data is precious. No one will be able to solve their data, right? So no one will be able to expose their data, right? Will you be able to expose your data online, everything, instead of your just daily posts? Will you do it? Will you post your private information, everything on web? Will you? Right? No. Yes. The same thing, even if you are working towards any research, no one will be able to upload the entire data. See, only Kaggle does the competitions, because they want to find out some solution. That's what Netflix has done 10 years ago, probably 15 years ago. By now, everyone is using about, see, this quarantine time, if you are feeling bored, what do? You either go to Netflix or Amazon Prime. That's what anyone will prefer, right? If you want to watch movies, web series, or anything. That's how the recommendation has been gone. The first step is collecting your data is very, very important. And then how do you collect? Manually or online? You have 2 options, right? Government offices or agricultural departments, whatever stream you're working. If you're working on medical, you need to go for medical hospitals or anything. If you're working on stock, you need to have some kind of personalities helping you. If you want to working towards e-commerce, you need to have the contact of your market or anything. If you're working towards agriculture, you need to go to an agricultural department. That is manual way. In web, you do web scraping. That's how you acquire your data. There, if you acquire your data, then you should obviously give your input to a machine. Your machine will understand only programming, right? That's where the importance of Python has emerged. Why only Python? I'll also answer your query, because if you see other programming languages, Java, C, C++, or any framework, they don't support these many libraries. Yes. So why Python? Because it is very easy to understand, and it is an open source platform where you can use simple a word called as import. So with that word, everything is going to change in Python. Whether you can go for web development, whether you can go for data, whether you can go for analysis, whether you can go for testing, you can use with that simple. Yes, you can also go for R programming, because the syntax is not simple like Python. If you are good at Python, then R becomes pretty familiar. You can build a machine learning model. You can do this entire data analysis which we are doing today. You can do the same thing in R. But Python, which has simple syntax and it is very easy to understand by. Yes, that's what you have the answer itself. You have the syntax different. But when you see the difference, it is very easy to understand. It depends on the user, right? Some people may be from programming background, so they can see. Some people may be from programming background, so they can understand. If a guy like some other from EC or EEE, how can he go for other thing? Yes. So that's where Python is an open source programming language, where you have these packages. Then you try to go for changing modifications. Then you clean the data. That's where these libraries comes into picture. Whatever you see, this IBM soft related to SPSS or whatever these are, you have so many statistical softwares. Even for data analysis, you can have any kind of analytical tools available. You have Power BI tool, you have Tableau or anything. But if you are good at core functionalities, then the software may change tomorrow also. You can get some other new software, right? Not only Tableau or anything. So let me tell you, you collect your data, you go for pre-processing, you build your model, and finally you try to make the model deployed in the cloud so that people start using. When I say data wrangling, that is nothing but you try to make some modifications for your data, which we are going to do. Let me see. You should have seen NumPy, Pandas. These are the terms which you can see on the screen, where this comes under data analysis libraries when you go for taking a data set. Because NumPy itself is numerical Python, where you can try to read the data in an array form. Pandas is a data cleansing library where you perform data wrangling and all the modifications for your data, so that you try to clean your data. Because the simple, you try to make a model related to a small toddler or a kid. See, a kid needs to have time till 1 year or 2 years so that he can speak and he can walk, right? He needs some time to understand the data from his parents. In the same way, we need to make everything clear for our model. That can be machine learning, or that applications of machine learning will be neural networks and all the things. Yes, so data wrangling is something like you clean your data and make it perfect model, so that you don't have any missing values, you don't have any null values in it, you don't have any kind of different forms of data. That's where the predictions comes into picture. So in today's session, we'll be taking a famous data set where we'll be using some data cleansing part, and by the end of session, you'll be able to understand why Python is playing a very damn key role in data science. Even you go for R, it can be used, but it is very easy to understand, right? So finally, visualization is from user end, where this all comes under data pre-processing, where you use these libraries called as NumPy, SciPy, Pandas. So SciPy stands for scientific Python, NumPy stands for numerical Python, Pandas is a data cleansing library where you try to take any file input. That can be Excel sheet or CSV file or HTML file or anything. Pandas is the only analytical tool which can extract data from any kind of files. That is the advantage of it. If you go for visualization, see, that is similar to making PPTs. So I can make PPT in one style, you can make PPT in your style. So the basic plotting libraries includes Matplotlib, Seaborn, and you may have other plotting libraries. If you go for R, you have ggplot. If you go for online plotting tools, you have Plotly. So that depends. So in today's session, we'll be using the most widely used libraries of data analysis to make your data a pretty simple, so that how many number of rows and columns you may have, you can access it directly with the help of these 4 libraries, because SciPy is for statistical kind of thing where you have regressions and all those things. Then you can use SciPy. Yes. So can anyone say what is the difference between NumPy and math module? If you are having any idea about that, we'll finish off this in 5 minutes and we'll go to the implementation part. I don't want to talk too much so that you'll be having some pretty good hands-on experience on that. See, we directly perform mathematical operations, right? The mathematical operations we perform with the help of math module. So if you go for any square root or power operations, you cannot use simple basic your arithmetic operators, because you'll be only having plus, minus, into, division. But if you have mathematical module where you can go for square root, power, trigonometric, and all the mathematical operations. But if you go for NumPy, the name itself says it is numerical Python. Maybe it may be from your end. Yes, I'll clear the doubt how NumPy is differing from SciPy. So when I say NumPy, you perform all operations related to an array. I can relate this array to a matrix. I do not call it a matrix, because in matrix, if you see mathematics, you will have rows and columns, right? In this also, whatever I treat, that can be in the format of rows and columns. I can say that as a multi-dimension. If you say list, that is a single dimension. If you say NumPy array, that can be for more advanced operations. Yeah, somebody is giving the answers. Yes. Once we go to the implementation part, you'll understand pretty simple. So if you go for NumPy and SciPy, SciPy stands for Scientific Python, where you try to understand how NumPy and SciPy are differing. So let me make it clear. So let's directly go to the implementation part. You can open Colab. Hope you are using Colab, right? You may or may not have any kind of system. You may or may not have any kind of software. Let's directly go to Colab and I'll show you the differences. I think you can see my screen, right? You can see Colab. You'll be getting this kind of tab. So let me give out today webinar name, or you can directly open a new notebook here. It will be loading so that it will allocate you some memory. I'll make you clear how NumPy and how pandas are used and what is the difference between NumPy and your simple list. We'll clear those things. Instead of speaking, we can clear it here itself. I hope my screen is visible. I think you can see my screen, right? If I need a just quick yes, so that my Colab screen. Yep. Just you can type Colab and click on new notebook. So the Colab is something like, you can see the option here. It is a simple Jupyter notebook, which is where you have your Google providing you space. See, Google provides you storage, right? See, Google Colab is something like you can collaboratively work. I mean, it is something like a Jupyter notebook. It's an IPython notebook where you need not install anything. Google will does your part. You can run your neural networks, because you can see your right side tab. It will allocate you some space. See, it will have you connecting. It will give you some space. It will give you nearly, you can see that nearly 12.72 GB of RAM and 107 GB of hard disk. It will give you huge amount of space, more processing, so that you need not install anything, because if you have Anaconda, that takes nearly 4 GB. For our system purpose, if you are using high-end system, you can go for Anaconda. But to make it everything online pretty simple, we use Colab here. Yes, so you have all the options. You can click for code for the new cell. You can rename this and you can share it to your friends, and it will automatically save to your drive. So that's what Colab is, even though it is very new to you. See, Jupyter Notebook is something like you need to do it from Anaconda platform. You need to install it. Either you need to install Jupyter Notebook or you need to install Anaconda. It will take your space, right? If your system is of low configuration, then your system gets hang. It will take more processing speed. But Google Chrome, if you are having pretty good internet connection, it is allocating you 12 GB of RAM. Who gives you that much of RAM? No one will give you, right? So that's how. No, it is working pretty good. You might have not seen the update. It is working pretty good. We can use Colab. So let's get into the session. I'll clearly show you how NumPy, because if you use your systems, you need to install them. If you are with Anaconda, you need not install anything. But if you are using Python idle or Python charm, PyCharm, you need to install with pip install NumPy, pip install pandas, pip install seaborn, pip install matplotlib. Yes, something like virtual machine, it may be. Yes. So first let me give you some simple difference between math module and NumPy, right? So if you define, you can go with this thing. So 5 plus 6, you get the answer. But if you go for square root of 2, what do you get? Square root is not defined because square root is not present directly. What you need to do? You need to call it from math library. Yes. So then what do? I basically use import math as m, then I define m dot. See, dot plays a very key role in Python. You go for m dot sqrt, square root of. You can give tab, it will give you suggestions. Then m dot square root of 2 will give you the answer. If you go for m dot, see, when you press m dot, you are getting a sentence, right? The dialog box. That's how all the libraries can be used. When you give dot and when you press tab, dot and tab, see, it will give you all the libraries. It includes more than trigonometric functions and all the simple functions. If you have the mathematical constants, that will give you the mathematical constants. Yes. So then how can I define an array? Why do I go for an array? Because we are already having list as a built-in data type. Then why do we go for an array in Python? Can anyone? Why do you need to go for an array? Already you are having list. Then why do you need to go for an array? Any simple guess? See, lists are immutable. Lists are mutable, sorry, where you can change. Not immutable actually, where you can have, see, in list you can have different type of elements. Yes, arrays are pretty much faster and you can go for multi-dimension. That's where it is very important for me, because whatever I access, I have in the format of a Excel sheet or a CSV file or a HTML or a web page. I need to convert that thing into a readable format. So you cannot make your tabular format in a document, right? You prepare document for description purpose, PPT for visualization. Only Excel sheet is for tabular data. So to make sure, even though I can import array, because array is a built-in package, it is not a built-in data type. If I would like to import array, I can directly import. That is a built-in library in Python. But if you want to create a multi-dimension data, see how does it looks like. A is equal to, you can create an array. See, if you write like this, if you go for creating an array of 1, 2, 3, see, you see what do you get here? Array argument 1 must be Unicode character. It's not a list. Yes, so you cannot create an array like this. You should include some special Unicode characters so that your data will be formed into a multi-dimension. If you create a list, that is a single dimension, and in list you can go for same type of elements or different type of elements. But generally, whatever data you take, that can be of similar type. When you try to analyze, that should be of same type. Then I should try to add some Unicode characters. So that means I define some general characters and I define in this way. See, it is giving you some answer where you should use only these type of type code, so an array will be created. Other than that, you cannot create an array. See, That is how an array is created. Even you use your print function, you have the same things. It doesn't give remove array of I comma 1 to 3. Can you see it? Everyone, some specific type you need to integrate. Otherwise, you cannot create an array. See, because if you try to directly write an array like this with the help of list array of, it tells you one must be Unicode character. It should have only one argument and that should have some Unicode characters. What do you mean by Unicode characters? Which includes the combination of strings and numbers. So that I thought I should write in this way. Then it is giving me something like, see, you should not include that kind of character. You should include only out of this. You can include U so that your array is created. So it will giving you only type of data so that only those can be included. Other things cannot be included. Yep. So I should follow these kind of rules so that an array can be created. But with the help of my numerical Python, I can create it a very simple single dimension. I need not follow these steps. See, import numpy as, I rename it as NP. You go for any aliasing, you can go for any simple step as or anything. Multi-dimension because your Excel sheet itself is multi-dimension, right? You have n number of columns. It will not be single dimension, right? So that's the reason you need to include some type code. So if I give directly right here, I go for np dot array of, I can directly define here. I need not declare any type. You can directly use your print function and directly get the array. If you go for some simple methods on it, see what are the methods. If you give the a dot shape, that gives you 3 columns and only 1 row. And if you give a dot size, this is a single dimension where you have only single row. See, for any mathematical operations, we can use NumPy. NumPy is basically used for all kind of, I can say, mathematics operations which has some advanced operations where you can go for linear algebra or random number generation or Fourier transform. If you are purely into numerical calculations, then NumPy plays a very key role. You can directly give out in a simple way. You need not write any type code. See, if you want to go for multi-dimension, then you can simply go for this method, np dot array of, you just give out here array of, you just include one more brace so that will understand you are giving a multi-dimension array. See, I can print B. If you use B, nothing, you get array of, that's it. See, array of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a multi-dimension array. Why do we need multi-dimension? As you already have the answer, because every data is in the form of multi-dimension, where it will be in the format of number of rows and columns. We talk it in matrix. If we go for an array, we can tell it as axis 0 and axis 1. Axis 1 is for columns, axis 0 is for rows. If you want to know the shape of it, some simple methods I will be telling you which are pretty much important for your next data set. Yes, print of b dot shape will give you the number of elements. B dot size will give you the number of elements in it. B dot shape is nothing but 2 rows, 3 columns. Yes, because this is axis 0 and this is, your rows are axis 0 when you go in a vertical way. When you go in a horizontal way, that is axis 1. Yes, am I clear? Because when you go for Excel sheet, how do you have the data? In vertical way, you have your rows. In horizontal way, you have your columns, right? That's how you go. The columns indicate your features. Rows indicate your data. You can directly declare here, but you should use a square brace so that you can define n number of elements inside it, and this forms the basis for multi-dimensional data. When you go for b dot shape, that becomes the number of elements. Can you guess? Am I clear? So we will be having some more functionalities on an array. You can go for slicing and all the things, which is not that possible. If you go for, can you add two lists? What happens if you add two lists? The two lists will merge, right? But if I add two arrays, what do happen? Suppose if I give 1, 2, 3 plus 4, 5, 6, you can see the answer. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What happens when you add two lists? List is always of same type of data. It will always have, when you can give, that can be same type, or you can convert into, if you write here 1 in the format of string, what happens? See, this is storing in the format of a string. Something like 1 is also a string. If you add a character over here, why it is adding? Generally, it is storing in the format of list, and two lists will be merging. Two lists will merge. Yeah, that we call as concatenation in the format of string. Yes, someone asked IPython. You'll already have IPython console in your Spider. No need to install it. You can go with Jupyter. So this is generally called as merging or string. If you go for strings, that is concatenation. Two lists are merging. But what if I define, see, B is my array which is having 2 rows and 4 columns. What do? I define np.array of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I define C. What do? I'll add B plus C. What can be your answer? Anyone? What will be your answer? Whether two arrays will merge or what will happen over there? B plus C. If you are aware of the matrices, two matrices will add. In the same way, you can see what is the answer over there. Individual elements will be added. 1 plus 4, 1 plus 5, 6, 2 plus 6, 8, 3 plus 7, 10, 4 plus 8, 12, 4 plus 9, 13, 5 plus 15, 20, 6 plus 17, 6 plus 11, 17, 7 plus 12, 19. Yes, you will get a new respective array adding both the elements, which is not possible with the help of list, right? See, if you try to change a single element into float, you can see the difference over there. Every element has been changed into float. And if you see the addition operation, everything will be formed into float because arrays will take only same type of data. If you give string, every data into string. If you give integer, every data into number. Yes, so that's how arrays are pretty much different from list, which is due to faster computation, and you have n number of operations. If plus is possible, you can go for multiplication, division, all the things are possible over an array, which forms the matrix operations. If you give two different dimensions, you see what does it differ. See, that forms a list over there, because can you add two matrices of different shape? You cannot do it, right? So that's how the data should be of same size. I have given comma twice, so that is the reason you are getting. See, it is giving the value error, so that your array should be of same shape. That is how it is pretty much different. You cannot add two different dimensional of arrays. That should be of same dimension. Yep, so that is how arrays are. And you can also create your own array with the help of simple arrange function. If I give np.arrange of 10, and if you see A, what happens? It starts from 0 and ends at n minus 1, right? 0 to 10 minus 1, same as range function in Python, but in array called as arrange. So if I want to transform this single dimension into multi-dimension, what do I define? A dot reshape of, what is the possible number? 10, 2 comma 5 or 5 comma 2. 2 rows, 5 columns. Or you can transform that into 5 rows, 2 columns. See, reshape. See, the advantage of Python is it is similar to English language. And whatever you speak, whatever you try to understand, that will understand. Even though you are from different background, reshape. What do you mean by reshape? You're trying to make changes into a shape. Yes, so that is how shape is done. What are the possibilities of 10? What are the possibilities of given number only you can reshape? If it is 10, 2 comma 5 or 5 comma 2, 10 comma 1 or 1 comma 10. That is the functionality of reshape. This is how the simple arrays are. You can go for indexing and slicing. If you go for a of 2, you get the second element. See, if I give this thing into C is equal to a dot reshape, and if you print C, now you can have an array of multi-dimension. If you go for indexing, hope you are aware of indexing, which access individual elements. If I give C of 2, what do you get? 4, 5, 0, 1, 2. That's how indexing goes on. Yes, same slicing. Combination of 10, the combination should match. Reshape does not take it. So what I suggest is debugging is the only way. You should try it out on your own. So debugging is the only way. If you try to give different combination, it will tell you that this shape is not possible, simply. So that is how you can create your arrays. And if you go for the same thing, if you try to create the structure into a format which is into similar to data frame, what do you mean by data frame? Which will deal the concept of panda. Link pandas to NumPy, something like this. So I have created C multidimensional array. What do I define? PD dot data frame. Data frame is nothing but a multi-dimension one. So for that, I need to import first pandas. Pandas is a data cleansing library or a pretty good analytical tool with Python where you can take any form of data that can be array form or an Excel sheet. Basically, if I talk about array form, we are doing it here. If you need to try to extract from a website or a data set, that will be a tabular format. That is how I convert here. PD dot data frame of, you can give out your input C and you see the output. You will be wondered how that is formed. See, print of A, these are called as columns and these are called as indexes. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are called as indexes and 0, 1 are called as columns. Data frame is nothing but a tabular format of representation of data in with the help of pandas. One dimension is series, which is similar to list, dictionary. Multi-dimension is an array where you will be having all the methods. Yes, so this is how pandas will be linked to our tabular data where we will be working on a data set called as Titanic dataset. Is it clear till now? So why I gave the basics of Python introduction is some. See, NumPy and Pandas are pretty good analytical libraries, right? So if you take out Excel sheet, how you can read the data? With Python, you can only use files operation to read the content, write the content. But if you cannot read the data from an Excel sheet, but Pandas does that concept. So data frame is the multi-dimensional tabular format where you will be having everything in the format of rows and columns, because here C is my multi-dimensional array, right? 5 rows, 2 columns. So I gave PD dot data frame. If you try to give your column names, if you want to pass some columns, see, columns is equal to, if you want to give name and if you want to give age, you see what does it does? The column's name will be replaced. So data frame is a tabular structure of multi-dimension data which will take up indexes. You can also change the index. You can give your own index. I try to give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see, the index will be changed to 1, 2, 3. What do you mean by index generally? If you go for a book, you'll be having contents, right? In the same way, our tabular data will be having index and columns. These columns are called as features. Index is called as, so how do I access something like a student report or a medical sheet, everything. If you talk about in digital point of view, that Pandas is the only library I can read my data. I can convert from one form to another form. Yes, right. So let's work on the famous data set. First, you open tinyurl.com/analysisweb. There I have uploaded the data set, which you can see my screen, tinyurl.com/analysisweb, where you get the data set. First you download the data set. Can you see it? Titanic.csv, tinyurl.com/analysisweb, tinyurl.com/analysisweb, which is the URL, analysis web. In the meanwhile, you download. I hope every one of you might have watched Titanic movie, right? Titanic, yes. So that is the, if you see that movie, it's a pretty good love story and it carries the emotions of people. Instead of love, you can see everything over there, which shows how people are communicating and everything. So in the same way, that story is based on the real life incident where 100 years ago in 1912, probably today's 19th, right? Few days back, 15th April, that ship has sunk in the Atlantic Ocean. So based on that story, that movie has been taken off. So the famous director James Cameron is the one who worked on that. So why I have chosen this data set is to make sure that this data set will have the more kind of analysis on that, where you'll be having people name, their age and their place of traveling and all the things, because this is the best data set to make you understand how data analysis can be done. Yes, so you download the data set. I hope you know how to upload into Colab. Just make it clear. You click on your left side folder files option, you click on upload button and choose titanic.csv. You'll be getting a warning, reminder uploaded files will get deleted. No issue with that. Click on OK. Your file gets uploaded. Yes, hope you know how to upload into Colab. So first let's import the libraries. You just import, already my NumPy pandas are imported. I'll just do it once again. Import NumPy as np. You can write in a single line where your Python interpreter allows you, whether you're using it in Colab or Jupyter Notebook, you can write in a single line. That you'll be having when you upload the file, you can see your file present over here. See, you're having titanic.csv. You can see the file over there. Yes, so I'll import my plotting library, because matplotlib stands for mathematical plotting library, where you can visualize. It is giving me already suggestions. Seaborn is something like an advanced library where you can go for more advanced kind of plotting. You are getting some warnings, right? So the difference between Seaborn and matplotlib is you may have pretty much kind of better advantages over the SciPy. You need not do it here, because SciPy is for scientific computing. If you are going into some statistical kind of operations, you use scientific Python, as the name itself says. So for this session, we are using these 4 important libraries. Any user who can perform the data analysis, where Seaborn is pretty much used for the best kind of visualization, where you can go for easy kind of distribution of data. You're getting some warning, right? You have imported NumPy pandas. You're getting some warnings. So you can ignore the warnings with the help of import warnings, and you can filter those warnings. Warnings dot, this command works out wherever you are using. That can be in your Jupyter or Spider or PyCharm or whatever kind of you are using, because warnings is a Python library which removes the warnings. Import warnings and you can filter the warnings. That's how you can. The first step is always to import the necessary packages. Whatever kind of analysis you are going to perform, whether you are going to build a machine learning model or the things, first step is make sure you upload the packages. So if you go for Colab, those are built in. If you go for your Jupyter, that is built in. But if you use simple Python idle or PyCharm, you need to install them. Pip install in Python idle. In PyCharm, you can go for directly drag and drop. Then the next step is to read the data set, Titanic_. data is equal to, if you want to read any CSV files or Excel sheets, you have to use pandas library. That is the reason I have imported it. I have renamed pandas as PD, right? So I need not create data file because it is already an Excel sheet. It will give you all the available libraries. I want to read the file. See, read Excel, read HTML. You have all the libraries. And my file is CSV file. So what is my file name? Titanic.csv, right? So I import it. And if you want to see the data, you can directly give Titanic.data. Colab will give you suggestions. If you want to see the entire data, you can directly give out the variable name and you can see it will print all the data. Total 891 rows, 12 columns. Yes, you upload the data, you can read it. Once you have imported it in the beginning, you need not import, because for the basic thing I am repeating it. Once you have imported in your kernel on your Colab, you need not import once until and unless you restart your kernel or you close your Colab. First importing is fine. It will take from the starting steps itself. You need not import it again. Can you read your data set? See, I want to see only specific number of rows and columns. Then I can directly go for dot head, which will give me the top 5 rows. You can see the top 5 rows. See, what are the columns you are having? Passenger ID, survived, where it includes the people traveling. Passenger ID is nothing but the number of passengers traveling. No issues, you can directly import pandas as PD. No issues, sir. You can directly import pandas as PD. You ignore warnings. If you are using Python idle, that may be different. Can you see your data set? Because the columns indicate passenger ID, the list of the number of passengers. Here, survived. Survived is 0 stands for not survived, 1 stands for survived. If you see, if you are aware of the movies, even the heroine is only the girl who left, hero is died in the movie. In the same way, we'll try to perform some analysis, how many people are survived, and we'll try to make sure the data is clean, because you can see you're having some non values here. See, P class stands for passenger class, name of the passenger, their gender, their age. SIB, SP stands for siblings or spouse. PARCH stands for parents or children. The specific person is having parent or children. What is their ticket? What is the fare? Fare is nothing but the fare collected from the passenger. In which cabin they are traveling, because that is a ship, right? The luxury ship. Embarked, it is a place from they are traveling, because the ship is traveling from England to New York. That's where you see in the movie, and that is the real destination, because it covers only 3 places: Southampton, Queenstown, Chebog. These 3 places are the things you can see in the data set. SSCQ. How can I see them? You can directly give Titanic_data dot. You can give out the columns. Can you see the column names? Titanic_data dot columns will give you the columns of the data set. We'll see, we'll perform some data analysis and we'll clean the data. That is our target today. Can you see the column names? Passenger ID, sex, age, siblings or spouse. Dot columns will give you the column names of the data set. Yes, can you see it? Dot columns will give you the data set, will give you the columns in the data set. If you're having any issues, you can drop it in the chat box. I'll try to resolve. Dot columns will give you the list of the names. And let me see first how many number of passengers are traveling in it. Number of passengers traveling in ship. How can I do it? I know simple Python logic. Where do? I give length of Titanic_data. See, it is giving you simply number of passengers traveling in ship is 891. See, I'll use simple Python functions and relate that thing to analysis. Something like they say advanced Python or anything. That is not the thing. How you use package, that's how Python is related to other fields. Whether you use for web development, Python for web development, Python for data science, or Python for machine learning. It differs. It is not basic or advanced Python, or it is. Yes, can you see the number of passengers? I have just used length function. Length is the built-in function which returns the number of elements in the specific sequence, because here my sequence is a tabular data frame with shape. Can you spot it out? Number of passengers. Yes, you can use it, no issues with that. I'll be trying to tell very important functions out of it. The basic functions which you can generally, if you're aware of it, then you can directly use. See, someone said dot shape will give the number of rows and number of columns. Shape, what is the shape of the data frame? Yes. Length is a built-in function where you can try to find out the number of elements. Here my number of elements is number of rows. Yes, if you want to have the entire information of the data, you can directly give your variable name dot, you can give out info. Info stands for information. It will give you can see the column names and 891 non-null. See, all the rows are filled, all the values are filled, but you can see in age the values are missing, in cabin the values are missing, in embarked 2 values are missing. It will give you complete information about the data, and you're having 2 float values. Dot info will give you the information of the data. 5 integer values, 5 string values, 5 objects. You can see name is a string, sex is a string, ticket is a string, cabin is a string, embarked is a string. Yes, can you spot it out? Dot info. NumPy pandas, import matplotlib.pyplot as plt, import cbon as SNS. That's it we are using. So our next step is to make sure dot info will give you the information about the data. What are the null values? You can also do it directly. Titanic underscore data dot is null dot sum. You can see is null will give you only true and false. If you remove this thing, it will give you the entire data set. Wherever the values are present, it will give you false. Wherever you are having missing values, it will give you true. So that is not my case, right? So I want to see how my data is present. So is null dot sum, individual columns, what are the number of missing values. Information will give you the complete information of your data, including your data types, including your missing values, including your column names. But is null dot sum will give you what are the missing values, how many missing values are present. So this is where your pandas comes into picture. You need to remove this number of missing values, because this is data analysis stage, right? Your data should be clean. You should try to remove those values so that your model will understand a clean data only. Where you'll understand once we're having a webinar on machine learning web sessions also, probably next week, you'll be understanding why data cleansing is important. So the motive of today's session is to make you how data cleansing can be done. See, our next target is to remove these missing values, right? So you're having 177 missing values in age, 687 missing values in cabin, 2 missing values in embarked. Can you spot it out? Now our target is to remove them, right? So that's what we should do now. With the help of, I'll directly remove each one of them. But first, before removing them, let's try to visualize, right? Why shouldn't we visualize how the data is present and how can I use my matplotlib and cbon here? So I have used important matplotlib, right? We'll go for cleansing part. Our target is to remove the missing values in age, cabin and embarked. Next, to create your data into clean form, right? But you can also go for visualization, right? you can visualize the data. So with the help of simple, I try to first visualize my age column with the help of simple histogram, where I can use from Matplotlib, because Matplotlib is the basic plotting library where you can use your bar graph, histogram. So why do you use histogram? Histogram is for a single variable which is increasing over time intervals, right? Bar graph is for two different variables varying for different time. That is for continuous, this is for categorical, where you can use histogram for continuous distributions, right? So I gave age and I plotted plot histogram. So you can see the different age group of people. So from this you can conclude, you can see 20 to 35 age people are most people traveling in the ship. That is the your y-axis representing. You can plot any kind of numeric with the help of histogram, but it should be repeating. Can you spot it out? Did you plot histogram? Plot histogram will give you how that data is being varying. If you try to plot it for another thing, if you try to plot it for sex, because sex is a numeric, not numeric column, see it will give you no numeric data. So you can plot any numeric data with the help of histogram. So to make it better understandable, now we'll use Seaborn, so that I can see, I can get the specific count from different data. I mean, I'll use a simple method called as, I have renamed Seaborn as SNS. I'll use my count plot. As the name itself says, yes, as the name itself says, count plot, which will give you the categorical distribution in count. It will give you simple distribution, how you can vary. SNS.count plot of, what is your input? You want to see how many people are survived. Make sure you give the column names correctly according to the age. If you try to give age, you see what is the difference over there. And what is your data? Data is equal to, you can see the suggestion over there, Titanic _. If you run it, see, cannot pass values for both x and y, because x is survived, age is also number. It is unable to track it out. So what do I define over there? I define P class. We cannot pass values for both x and y. So that means I cannot do in this way. So I define a term called as hue, which takes the values so that you can plot it in this manner. Hue takes the parameter to include whatever you gave the column. You gave survived, right? For how many people are survived in different classes. You can see 0 stands for not survived, 1 stands for survived. So you can see mostly first class people are survived because they can travel. Even in the movie you can see first class people will get lifeboats. In the same way, hue is the parameter where you can include another feature. If you want to plot the same thing according to their gender, you can directly give SNS.count plot. Count plot will give you the clear representation of count. That is generally the categorical distribution. So I define here hue is equal to sex. See, you can see from this graph what you can visualize. More male people have died and more female people have been survived. Can you see it? Because I want to make sure how you can easily understand from the analysis. Can you see it? Because I wanted to introduce some different plottings. Even if you go for hue is the feature where you take your, if you take x and y in count plot, you should take only one count category, and hue is the feature. You cannot give for count plot y category. You need to give some x category, and with some hue is a parameter over there. You can go for simple bar plot representation, no issues with that. Because for count plot, y doesn't take. Hue is the only parameter which will take it as a class. It should take according to classes. So you can see it is according to the passenger class, and this is according to their gender. You can see how many number of people, because count plot will give you their count accordingly. That's what you can observe from the graph. And you can try it out for different things. If you have given for sex, and you can also go for embarked. See, what does it throw you? From which place there no more number of people have died. You can see S stands for Southampton, C for Cheboak, Q for Queenstown. So most number of people have been dead from S place, and most number of people have been survived from that place only. That's how you can change. You can work it on yourself. Yes. So count plot will give you the count of the values. And if you want more kind of best quartile distribution, I have another plot, because I want to introduce those plots for you, which is box. Box plot is nothing but where you can represent each and every data in boxes. Where I define, I want to go for passenger class, same X and Y, you can see the suggestions over there. I want to plot for passenger class and age, and obviously you need to give the data, Titanic underscore data. You can see your box plot, because box plot will represent your data in kind of boxes. Which kind of graphs? You can see what you are giving. Count plot will give you the count representation, whereas box plot will give you in the format of boxes. See, the middle value in the median, minimum value, maximum value, and the last sticks are called as whiskers. You can see dots as outliers. So what do you mean by median value? The middle value, the middle range. So you can see first class people, you can see 35 plus are the median kind of people who are traveling. If you go for second class, the people are in the range of 30. If you go for third class, those are teenagers. So box plot will give you the representation of quartile wise distribution, 25%, 50%, 75%. So that's how box plots are represented. You can try for other things, P class, and if you give for sex, you can see how that is differing. So middle value represents, you can try to change this thing to X and this thing to Y. You can play with those categories, then only you can understand. See, sex is your male and female, P class is 1, 2, 3 classes. The middle line indicates your median value, and the box indicates the region covering. So that's how box plots are there. Box plots will represent your quartile distribution. Is it clear? So mainly I wanted to introduce the most best used plot. So box plot is for quartile distribution. See, you need not use hue here, because X and Y are simply used. Hue is not present in all parameters. Hue is present in count plot or joint plots. You don't have all the parameters, because if I want to plot a graph, I need to have simple basic logic of X and Y parameters. In maths we do, but in matplotlib that is applicable. But if you go for Seaborn, you don't have any default parameters. You can go for multiple kind of plots and easy to understand plots with the default palettes. That's how you have this kind of representation in box plots. This is some pretty visualization. You can go for histogram and bar plots. That is for visualization, because visualization is pretty much from user point of view. So what is the next step? I have stopped at data cleansing, right? That I need to fulfill now. I need to clean my data. That's what we are going to see in the next 10 minutes. So what are the missing values? Age, cabin, and embarked, right? So 177 missing values are present in age, 687 missing values are present in cabin. Yes? What do you need to do them? You can directly use a method called as drop. See, for every kind of data set, you need to first go for data cleansing. You need to go for what are the missing values in your data with the help of method isNull.sum. That is very, very important. So I give a method called as drop. Titanic underscore data dot drop of, what is your column name? You want to drop call cabin according to axis 1. Axis 1 is columns, and that should be applicable on the entire data set with the help of in place equal to true. Titanic underscore data dot drop of columns. Yes, because I don't need cabin here, because I need not exactly rectify which person is traveling in which cabin. That is not possible. See, 100 years ago, you don't have any technology. So that ship travel has around 2000 plus people. We only train models to make sure it can take any number of data so that it will understand what is the type of data. See, what do you use cabin? You need to make your data understand that from which place people are traveling and what is their gender, so that I can make a conclusion that how many people are survived. You can fill it, but I don't need to use this cabin, because cabin is nothing but which cabin they are traveling. Why should I need it? I don't care, because that is not present in every data set. So axis equal to 1 is y-axis. So in place equal to true means that is applicable on the data set. Once you can check it here, Titanic underscore data dot, if you go for is null dot sum, now you can see cabin has been dropped from it. You don't see anything over there. You cannot expect every data to be present, because you cannot get 100% of clean data anytime. You try to make sure your data is present, which what are the important columns, because in this I need to have survived, I need to have their gender, I need to have their age, I need to have their passenger class, from which class they are traveling. Yes, is it clear? Then you are having 177 missing values in age. Now I don't want to drop it, because age is my important criteria. I cannot drop it. Yes, so that is the reason I'll fill it, because you're only having only 177 missing values, right? So you go for Titanic underscore data of what is your column name, age dot, you fill the missing values. I don't want to fill them with zeros. You can go for fill any of 0, but I go for some filling methods, because these filling methods are very much important when you are trying to build a model, where you fill them with mean of the values. So for that, I can go for Titanic underscore data of what is my column name, age. How do I fill it? With their mean. What do you mean by mean? Yes, what do you mean by mean? You calculate the average, right? So that average should be applied. Titanic underscore data of age dot, you try to fill them with mean of the values. See, once you have dropped it, you cannot get that thing, please, because you'll be getting key error. You should write as it is, Titanic underscore data dot drop. Once it drop, you cannot get it again. If there is key error, that means you have dropped. You need to fill them with their mean, so that now you need not drop them, you need not try to fill them with zeros. In place is nothing but, see, if I don't use in place, you see what it will happen. You can see the values with the help of mean. Those values will be filled into the data. Titanic underscore data dot is null dot sum. You can see that should be applicable on that. So for that reason, even though age is filled, but for safe side, I use in place equal to true. So that will be applicable on the entire data set. That is very much preferable method when you go for filling the missing values. You should use in place. When you drop, that should be added compulsorily. When you fill, no need to add. Exactly, because age is the criteria which I should take into consideration. If zeros is filled, what does that mean? Zeros in the sense, the data will be something like misguiding. So I want to make sure that data should not be lost, so that I'll fill them with mean of the values. Yes, then what is my final thing? I have only 2 null values. So in Embark, I'll take that thing into consideration, and I'll go for Titanic underscore data dot. You can use this thing in the starting step itself, but I want to fill the age value. So for that, I have used this Titanic underscore data dot drop null values, you cannot get back. Once it is dropped, you need to again the CSV file from the top, and again you need to run again. Once it is dropped, you cannot get it again. You'll be getting key error. If you want to get it again, you can run by reloading the file again. Now you can see every data is perfect. Every data is clean. Can you check it out? Every data is clean now. All null values, all values are filled. If you go for information, you can see Titanic underscore data dot information will give you the information from data. See, all values are filled over there. 889 non-null values, because every value has been filled. I have used drop method for cabin and I have filled the values for age. Yes? Is it clear? Is your data clean now? This is very, very important step. Whatever you try to do for the first 2 steps in building a neural network, your data should be clean. That's where the work of data analyst or data scientist is. Cleaning the data, which is not that much simple. D type is nothing but the data types. You can also go for that method. You're having 2 float values. See, Titanic underscore data dot D types. Data types. Integer, object is nothing but string, float, fair is float, embarked is object. Yes? Now let me make it simple for you. You can create some categories for sex. I'll create for sex. You can go for passenger class and embark, because I can create some dummies. Within 2 minutes I can do it, so that we'll be having very much clean data. Here it is fine, data cleansing is done, but if you try to build a model for it, your sklearn will not take it, because that is the next step in building a model. I want to make sure that you understand that part also. Without using sklearn, I can use another library called as same pandas, where I can have some categories, because in sex I have male and female, in passenger class 1, 2, 3, in embarked SCQ. Am I right? You're having categories, right? Just 5 more minutes, we can finish this. You're having categories or not? In sex, you're having male and female repeating. In passenger class, you're having 1, 2, 3. In embarked, you'll be having SCQ. Without use, because whenever the data is clean, it should be of same form. Then our sklearn library, which is the heart of machine learning, will try to build a model for that. So in the future, whenever the data set may increase, it can learn from the trained model, same as human beings. So now let me do it. I create dummies for that. So dummies is the concept where you can create, where you can remove your categories. td dot get underscore dummies of what is your column name, Titanic data of sex. What is your method? Drop first. So first let me show you what does this provide. You can see that things has been converted it into numerics. See, because the first person is male. So instead of M, what I'm having, I can see 0, female has and male has been converted into categories. Yes, can you see? Dummies. Dummies in the sense duplicates. See, heroes will have dummies in fight action scenes, right? They replicate them. In the same way, I created my dummies for sex column, female and male. 0 indicates first passenger, 1 indicates second passenger. If 0 is male, that will be 1. Can you see it? So dummies is the concept you can use without going for sklearn. In sklearn, you'll be having label encoder. You can attend our next webinars. We'll be having on regression and classifiers. Yes, dot head is for giving out the first 5 columns. Dot head of 2 will give you first 2 columns. And I want to drop the first column because I want only first thing. drop first is equal to false is the default one, I'll give true. So you can get only male column. Can you see? Sex, S is capital letter. You see whatever I'm writing here. Please try to check it out. In the same way, you try to create dummies for remaining things. That's how you can do it. So what I'll do, I'll make sure you give sex as small letter because already sex is present as column name. Now I do for P class. P class is passenger class. If you are unable to follow, you try to listen at least because we'll be sending you the material. We are about end of the session. I want to make sure you can convert your strings also into numerics. Sex is converted male and female into zeros and ones. Passenger class 1, 2, 3 has been converted it into zeros and ones. And what is the other column? I can change my place of travel. What is my place of travel? Embark. You can directly copy from the above thing and embarked. Just make sure you change the variable names. Embark. Just I want to create the different. Embark. Whatever strings are present, you are trying to make sure that into numerics. That's what you are doing because it will be pretty much more clear for your data. Yes, dummies is the concept where you convert your strings into numerics, that is in the format of binary, zeros and ones, along with the column names. Drop first is the first column being dropped. You can see one is missing. You can see female is missing. See, first person is male. I need not have female also, right? I can replace M as 1. You need not have again female column over there. So that is the reason I create all the things and finally I go for concatenation. Titanic underscore. This is the last step where you can try to combine, where you have same concatenation method. Titanic underscore data, comma, make sure you give the names correctly, sex, PCL, comma, embark, because those are the names you are trying to combine according to the axis. What is your axis? They should be added according to columns, right? So that is the reason you give always axis is equal to 1. So concatenation is nothing but you are trying to combine. See, you can see those columns have been added, embarked, all the things. PD dot concatenate. You are trying to convert that thing into numerics because see, data cleansing is done, but the best way of cleansing is you need to make that thing into single form, into numeric. That is the reason I have dropped. I'm not dropping, I'm just creating dummies. PD dot concatenate. Now we have dropped original ones. What are the original ones? You can see Titanic underscore data dot. The original columns can be dropped now because the data is already existing. Sex and embarked. Just 2 minutes. We are about to finish off. You can see the very much pretty clean data. I also don't want ticket because ticket is not needed for me, and I don't want names also because with the help of names I cannot do anything, and I also don't want my passenger ID because passenger ID is something like serial number. So why do I need serial number? So I drop it and I place the very clean data in front of you so that your machine learning model can learn very clearly. This is a very much important step. Titanic underscore data dot head. See, you can see your data, everything in numerics. So this is our target. Now you can make a modeling. You can start building a model. So I've used simple analysis libraries where how many number of columns you may have, you can start cleansing it. The next step you can go for building a model. That's what we are having in another webinar where you understand how we build a regression model and how we build a classifier. That comes in building a model. This is data analysis. What do you mean by original form? If you try to run the file again, you can understand. Because I want to have this kind of form instead of all the strings and all the things. Our model cannot understand. Even you cannot read it, right? So that is the reason I'm trying to make sure the data is of only numerics, because system will only understand the numbers. These are integer and float format, that is fine. Drop first is to make sure you can see if first person is male, I need not have another column with female, right? Yes. So that is the reason I have used drop first. To drop the name. Dummies you have used for creating the columns. Categories into numeric. Yes. So don't worry, you'll be getting the materials and certificate by the end of the day. Yes. So we'll be giving you the next webinars. We are having some series of webinars till the next lockdown. So hope you have enjoyed this session also, because pandas and numpy plays a very key role and visualization. You can consider, you need not drop it. See, you're again, if you see the second passenger is male is 0, what does that mean? She's a female, right? Then what is the need of adding female again? No issues over there. You can use anything. Wherever male is 0, that is female. Wherever you can see the index 3, 2, 3 are zeros. What does that mean? He is traveling from first class. That's how the data is. Yep. Nice. So I hope you have enjoyed this session also. Yes, exactly. Our ultimate goal is to convert that thing into a better numeric form. Once you have done this, you can save this you can download this as a Python file or .ipynb. You can convert this thing into CSV format. You can use it with the help of pandas. I hope you have enjoyed this session also. Yes, thank you.